The views and opinions expressed by guests on the TWBC podcast are solely those of the guest and do not necessarily reflect the views of, nor constitute an endorsement by the host, TWBC, or the advertisers.
National championships, Confederation championships, World championships, major professional events. For over 3 decades, he has been there for many of the sport's greatest moments. And now he brings you even closer to the movers and shakers in the world of high echelon tournament water skiing. From the founder and creator of the Water Ski Broadcasting Company comes the TWBC Podcast. And now here's your host, Tony Lightfoot.
Well, greetings and salutations, one and all. This is the aforementioned Tony Lightfoot, and this is the TWBC Podcast. And great to have you on board once again in rather turbulent times. We've just had the Moomba Masters coming by. We've had a whole bunch of stuff going on in the world of geopolitics and all that kind of stuff. But the guest that I have on today is a rather interesting subject. She's really taken the event of women's slalom skiing by storm over the last few seasons, having been a relative latecomer to the sport. So with that, we'll introduce the one and only Ali Garcia. How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Not a problem at all. So, season just round the corner. No doubt you'll be eyeing up 1 or 2 tournaments at the beginning of the season. Maybe going to Europe, possibly again. How's the planning going for that?
It's good. It's really exciting. I think this is the first time in my career that there's been like kind of a pro tour in Europe. I've obviously heard so much about it from the other pros back when they got to do it. I never thought it was something that I'd get to experience, so planning it out is extremely exciting for sure.
All right then. So, but in terms of what you typically do during your existence, you're a high echelon women's slalomer, but you're also a college student as well, attending the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, my alma mater. I'll throw that one out there just to make sure that if there's any hint of bias in my voice or anything like that, it's well documented. But how's things going on there? I believe you're into your sophomore year or something like that?
Yes, it's great. We're just kind of kicking off, getting ready for our first spring tournament here in a couple weeks, getting ready to host our own tournament, Florida Ski. So that's pretty exciting. We've had a lot of momentum. Last fall, we won our 8th national title, and it was our back-to-back national title. So we're just recruiting super hard, getting ready for the next fall, and enjoying our kind of break semester. I guess spring is a little bit calmer for collegiate athletes.
And obviously recruiting hard because one of the top women slalom skiers in the world, Jamie Bull, graduates in May. So she's going to be quite a notable omission from next year's Raging Cajun team. But you've gotten to ski with her quite a bit, not only in Florida but also in Louisiana. How's that worked out between the two of you?
Oh, it's been great. I've looked up to Jamie for quite a few years. I've known her since I was maybe 12 years old. And I think that she's an amazing athlete, and there's so much you can learn from her. Just the way that she trains, the way that she carries herself, the way that she views water skiing is really impressive. So I definitely enjoy every moment I kind of get to watch her and see how she handles the sport.
Yes, indeed. Certainly one of the greats out there, and truly a great world championship in that in that tournament last season in Central Florida, the Lake County IWWF World Water Ski Championships, and I was privileged to be a part of that tournament, and I think you skied in that one as well, didn't you?
Yes, I did. There was quite a few Cajuns there, actually.
Yes, indeed. So moving on from that season, we're now getting ready for the season that is 2022. I've seen Facebook posts, Instagram posts, and what have you of you out at Airport Lake, just trying to get situated for the season to come. So that's how's that shaping up? Is there any signs of improvements even at this early stage of the season, or are you just trying to pace yourself a little bit before the majority of tournaments come around?
I've been skiing pretty much as I can. It's a little hard with the weather up here in the spring. We do have our fair share of wind and cold snaps, but I think this part of the year is actually my favorite time of the year to ski. I think it's awesome because you just get to go out. It's cold, it's windy. Maybe you don't have high expectations and you just really work on technique. So I'd say that I've been able to improve a few things technically in my gait here and there, and hopefully be able to apply them throughout the season, and they'll benefit me a little bit.
Okay, so what kind of tournaments are you targeting this season? I mean, the major one that kicks off things in the Northern Hemisphere is the Swiss Pro Slalom. I think you're probably down to skiing that, aren't you?
Yes, I believe I've entered. It's a bit of a tight one because it is actually the weekend before finals week.
Ooh.
Up here in Louisiana. So I'll probably be hiding out somewhere studying during the tournament, but I'm definitely, my goal is to make it down there and open up my season at Swiss, which is a great lake to open up your year, I'd say.
Yeah, certainly one of the great slalom tournaments to kick off the season, the Swiss Pro Slalom, which will be webcasted once again by TWBC. Got to throw that one out there, of course. But from there on in, are you involved in the Masters qualifiers at all?
Yes, I'm hoping to go to all three. Obviously, the second one is just in my neighborhood at Drew Ross's ski school, so that's a pretty easy 200-meter walk. But I would like to go to all of them and give it my best shot. Hopefully, I think, a quarter buoy off qualifying last year, which surprised me and I believe everybody watching. So I'd like to give it another shot this year.
And you really have been a surprising package to a lot of competitors, a lot of those spectators that continue to monitor the situation in women's slalom, which has grown in leaps and bounds. Because when your older brother Taylor Garcia started really coming into his own and started to really put out some results that were absolutely stunning, you weren't really in the picture, and then a few years down the road, you decided, okay, I want in on this game. So, kind of give us a little bit of a background as to how that came about.
Yeah, it's a pretty unique story, I'd say. My brother and I were both snow ski racers originally, and he qualified for his first Junior Worlds, and we moved to Florida to train. And I actually wanted absolutely nothing to do with the sport. I hated water skiing with a passion and refused to start. And then I think I was like 13 maybe, and I went to my dad and I was like, I just really want to qualify for Junior Moomba. And he was like, Ali, you're like 2 passes off. Like, you don't ski. And I was like, I don't care. Like, I want to go. So at that point in time, I decided to get really into it, and my whole family was really supportive. My brother was excited. I think he was really happy it was slalom. He never wanted me to jump. He was a bit nervous about my coordination in the air. But no, it was really a turning point, and from that point on, I just became so driven. And I think growing up so close to Neely Ross and Paige Reaney and Brooke Baldwin, I saw just so much excellence, and I saw how they trained, and I followed suit, and I put everything I had into it. And I still view myself as on the outskirts of pro skiing. Like, every once in a while I pop in there, but I still have so far to go, and I'm really excited for the journey of it, especially because my brother and I kind of get to do it together, and we're in the same group and the same experiences and traveling, and I think that's really special.
Certainly, and it certainly helps to surround yourself with those skiers that you severely name dropped. I mean, Neely Ross and the like. There are training down there around the Isles of Lake Hancock. But I mean, so far as so far as your family involvement, I mean, obviously they're a huge support system for you going forwards, and I mean. And I mean, from what you said, I mean, your father really gave you a big old reality check in terms of how much of an uphill struggle it would be to be where you were to where you want to be right now going forwards. You know, so I mean, just give us an idea of how much their involvement has really driven you as an athlete.
My parents are obviously, I think every one of us can say our parents are the reason that we are where we are in the sport. I think I've been especially grateful for how my parents do it. You know, my mom and my dad, they always said, like, we'll give you the tools, but you have to make the decision to push and to work and to show up every day. And we're not going to push you because they didn't believe that you could succeed if it wasn't your decision to. And I fully agree with that. I think that it was one of the beautiful things is like, I always had them 100% behind me. I still call my dad sometimes when I go to the lake up here and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I should ski again. And he's always going to be my support system. And my mom is, as you know, a very hard worker at most pro tournaments. So she's always up there in the scoring booth and texting me and updating me on the scores and comforting me and supporting me in my training. I think that they've done so much, and I'm really grateful for it.
All right then, and I'm sure your mother's probably recovering right now from a long flight back from the Mooma Masters, where she was the scorer in that particular tournament. So let's look a little forward beyond Swiss Pro, because you've got Swiss Pro, the qualifiers. If you make it past that and skiing the Masters, then you're in that. But then there's a little bit of a gap so far as the next tournament goes, and I'm guessing that your next real challenge potentially is the San Gervasio Pro Slalom, which you traveled to last season, and you competed in that competition. But what I noticed was that it was probably one of your first trips outside of the United States where you basically traveled alone, and I mean, it probably was a bit of a shock to the system, because most trips you've taken outside the United States have been with the family, right?
Yes, it was definitely a bit of a startling experience. I had a lot of travel issues actually getting to Italy with canceled flights and trying to make it through a train station where I understood none of the signs. It was scary. I definitely called my parents a lot on the verge of tears. Didn't cry, but got there. But it was really, it was so cool. And I think what's really awesome about our sport is that it's so tight-knit and everybody's so supportive. So I landed and Thomas DeGasperi picked me up and took care of me and then handed me off to Chelsea Mills, who helped me get around, and because I'm not old enough to rent a car. So there was a lot of people. Mario Pagozzi helped me get around a fair bit. So I think it was definitely a shocking experience, but I'm very grateful for the community we have in the sport that made it much easier.
Indeed, and certainly, I mean, you've got, last season, because of the pandemic and a lot of other stuff that was taking place around about that time, there weren't nearly as many tournaments last season as there's going to potentially be this season. I've already mentioned San Gervasio in the first weekend of July, but then there's a slalom tournament in Greece. There's potentially one up in Norway. There's an intriguing tournament that's going to take place in Great Britain, which is a side-by-side slalom skiing with that one. So you could potentially be, if you wanted to attend those tournaments, you could be out of the country for close to a month. That's going to be an experience to savor, I would imagine.
Yes, we've been starting to plan it and look into flights, and I can't even believe that we're all getting this opportunity. I'm so grateful that there's tournament sites in Europe willing to host us, especially because of everything going on. And I think it's going to be a crazy experience. And I think that it's really awesome with you guys broadcasting so many of these events. that I think it's going to bring a lot of people into the trip with us and show them what a real pro tour kind of looks like. And I think it's really exciting to have that back in our sport.
All right, then. So going into the season, you obviously have expectations of where you want to finish up in terms of the Pro Tour, and maybe a score that you probably want to get towards, maybe something into, I don't know, maybe 39.5 off, or deep into that pass. Might not be too may not be too far outside of expectations. So to answer both of those aspects, how high do you reckon you'll be in terms of the Pro Tour, the standings come season's end?
Oh, I honestly have no idea. I feel like the women's field has become so deep lately. There's so many girls my age coming in, and so many women coming back, like Vanessa, and we've seen Karen Truelove so much on the tour. Absolutely killing it. It'll be a close one. I'd really hope to finish top 10. I'd say that was a goal of mine. I have quite a few goals, like score wise. I obviously would like to try to get a bit deeper down 39 off, but I think this year the goals I've kind of set for myself, being my first year really going to pro tournaments, is I want to achieve more consistency, and I want to learn something every tournament to just push myself forward.
Yeah, those sound pretty reasonable, pretty doable so far as what I've seen of you slaloming is concerned. All right, so continuing on the conversation, just learnt that what is your major in college right now?
It is political science with a focus in pre-law.
Wow. Okay, I guess the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree then, I take it.
No, definitely a family full of lawyers.
Yes, and your brother actually is in law school right now, from what I can tell you.
Yes, yeah, it started this fall in law school in Orlando, and he's really enjoying it and kind of telling me what to expect and stuff. So it's nice to follow his suit.
Excellent stuff. So, all right then. What we'll do is we'll kind of wrap up the podcast for the time being. I certainly thank you for being a participant in this edition of the TWBC podcast, and I certainly wish you the very best of luck, not only in the pro tournaments coming up, but also in the tournament at Airport Lake in 2 weeks' time, the Fleur de Ski, which I'm sure that you'll have a heavy hand in terms of organising. But what I typically give our guests, the TWBC podcast, an opportunity to say is thanks and acknowledgements to their support systems, so on and so forth. So here's that opportunity.
Oh, okay. We've obviously thanked my parents quite a bit, but you can never thank parents enough when it comes to our sport. I'd like to thank John Travers. He's been helping me so much. Matteo Lazzari for helping me keep my head on straight. Definitely a big role model. And to my team up here in Lafayette, definitely a really awesome support system.
Excellent stuff. And that was Ali Garcia, and this has been the TWBC podcast. So with my customary outgoing greeting, I shall say ciao for now, and be sure to check in on the TWBC podcast next time.
Thank you for listening to the TWBC podcast. Be sure to check out our website at waterskibroadcasting.com. Links to our presence on major social media platforms can be found there, as well as updates to our webcast and this podcast. Duplication or rebroadcasting of this broadcast without written consent of TWBC is prohibited. Subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform, and be sure to join us next time for the next edition of the TWBC podcast.